Everybody over the shoulder here, please. Get on this one. Thank you. You can sit up closer to me. There you go.
Coach, how nice is it to be back? It's been about 5.5 months since we've talked to you.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part is this day is closer to us getting back on the floor and trying to get this team to come together.
Jacque, you've impressed upon your bunch the need to improve over the offseason. How proud are you of the time that they've all spent here over the summer?
Well, that's the challenge for every individual as a professional is to come back a better player and better person than when you left. And that was the challenge put before our guys. And what I've seen, they've done a great job, and looking forward to seeing it on the floor now.
What do you like about your team as far as potential? What do you see with this team? We got a nice mix of some vets and some young guys.
I think at the end of the day, the versatility that we have, guys are able to play multiple positions. We'll be able to defensively dictate some things, and hopefully that'll spur our ability to run and get out offensively. We'll be a team that's dedicated on the defensive end of the floor.
How important is it having the new vets that you brought in that locker room for this team right now?
Well, I think where we're at right now, bringing the right people in the locker room is one of the most important things when you're talking about team chemistry. The vets on our team, Shannon Fry, Willie Green, Luke Rittenauer, Ben Gordon, these are guys who have played on multiple teams and been in different settings and understand the importance of earning minutes on a basketball team. That's going to be an important message for our guys in the locker room right now.
How much can Channing have like a trickle-down effect on? It's about more than just him. It's what he does for Victor, what he does for Alfred, the spacing he gives you on the floor, the leadership in the locker room. Can he kind of have a trickle-down effect on your young guys?
I think if you look at different scouting reports, when you play against a guy like Channing Fry, he makes you react to his ability to shoot the basketball. And so whether that's him being involved in a pick and roll setting or whether that's him being spaced on the floor, I think he changes angles for the ball handler, and oftentimes is a safety blanket for guys to get the ball to.
You joke that all guys say they want to run, but you said you want to be an up-tempo team. It's about putting forth the effort to run, right?
We'll see at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So that I'm looking forward to that. The challenge of what you say, being able to translate to the habits that you create to get there. That's the challenge for this group. We can have all the youth and athleticism and versatility, but if you don't do it on a consistent basis on both ends of the floor, then it's mute.
Coach, a lot of people look at this team, they've seen 43 wins the last couple of years. They want to see some progress. How do you measure that? How do we know when you guys are finding success? How do we know when you'll be successful? How do we measure that?
Larry, that's always defined different ways, whether it's, statistical categories. You can do it win-loss columns. You can do it on the road and versus home. I'll keep it very simple with these guys. The challenge of being better that next day than you were the previous day. Where does that lead us? I'm not sure. But consistently, we want to be a team that produces and gives effort consistently. And that's the most important thing on both ends of the floor. That'll be the challenge with this group.
For the fans, what should they be looking for to know? I talked to Alex Martins last week. He said he thinks that this year could be the year that this rebuilding turns the corner. What will fans see that will tell them that's happening?
Hopefully the rest of the East is thinking that way too, but I'm not sure with Charlotte and Toronto and Washington being playoff teams and Cleveland being better and Detroit being better. So Miami is still a good basketball team without LeBron. Cleveland is better, so welcome to the East. At the same time, we have to accept our own destiny, our own challenge, and that's what we'll do. The team we put on the floor will be a team that will play extremely hard and be dedicated to consistently giving effort every single night.
Jacque, you got, I think, exactly a month before you start the regular season. You got a lot of sorting out to do with the roster. Name a couple of things that you really are going to focus on, like in the next week or two, before you get into the game.
I think the most important thing is introducing these guys to one another in a respectful way. In order for us to grow as a team, there has to be a respect factor amongst the new guys, new acquisitions, free agents, guys who are returning. And that's built around working with one another. There will be a competitive energy within our framework as a team in our locker room, but at the same time, a supportive energy that needs to be there in order for this team to grow together.
Jacque, talk about the competitiveness of your roster. Seems like you got some guys, got some versatility, got some depth there too. How nice is it to have that?
I think it makes everyone better. I think when these guys started out playing basketball, one of the components that they enjoyed was competing. At the end of the day, trying to be better than the guy who you're playing against. That will be the focus in training camp, for us to push each other, but at the same time support each other. So there's a very thin line. I talked about it the other day of being arrogant, but also being competitive.
Jacque, what did you know about Evan from his 2 years in Denver? Is there anything that you've learned about him since then that sticks out in particular?
Well, I had a great chance to spend some time with him when I went over to Spain and continue to learn about him as a person. I think overall he comes from a family of competition, and that's great to see, the way his parents were raised. And I think his journey to get him here, able to see him in Denver play, hopefully we can take advantage of the skills that he showed in Denver, but also put him in a position to have the basketball in his hand, make some decisions with the basketball in his hands, and see a little bit more than we saw in his previous couple years.
Is he another one of these guys that either a one or?
I love it. He is a basketball player, and so that's how we're going to term and label all these guys. At the end of the day, we're going to put them in a position to make basketball plays.
Coach, today you guys announced the signing of some decorated collegiate guys like Peyton Siva and Steph Curry. What are you expecting from them in the preseason, and what roles are you looking for them to fill?
Well, I think anytime you get guys who've been successful at the college level, it adds to the atmosphere, the competition that we talked about. But there'll be a challenge of getting a lot of guys together and playing cohesively during the preseason.
Coach, your training camp philosophy, it is a fluid day-by-day thing, or do you have things on paper that you have to get accomplished every day for a couple of weeks and you go with that? How does that work?
Well, I think you're prepared to try to get in. You have a list of the things that you want to get in, but it doesn't always work out that way. So being able to adjust, seeing where your team is at, what they need to work on, I think overall that's the goal going from day to day.
What do you remember from your very first practice as a rookie?
I can say that first week it was tough. 2 days I had never been a part of practicing, giving my all, going to take a nap and eat, and then doing it again in a second version. And so at the end of the week, I remember being sore and tired, and I thought that I was in shape. I think that left a lasting impression on me, and that's why we try to get our guys to be in shape as they come to camp and not work themselves in shape during camp.
Jacque, when you talk about setting the tone defensively, how do you go about that? That's like a culture change. How do you get guys to focus on that and let them know that that's important?
It starts from day one. I think the great thing about this roster right now is everyone that's in this locker room that we either acquired or brought in or kept to grow with us, we've done that. It's been our decision to bring those guys and have them here. So they'll be locked into what we want to do as a team, and that'll start with the first drill of the day.
How often do you intend to go twice a day?
Right now I'm scheduled to do 3 before our first preseason game.
Coach, with Victor, what type of improvements have you seen from year 1 going into year 2 here?
Well, from right now, what I've seen, just his body looks great. Overall, his mental placement is great right now. I think he, your second year, you feel a little bit more confident, like you belong. He's seen some situations, he'll grow from those. We'll see when we start playing them.
It's not only a big year for many of the players on the team, also a big year for you. You've had a couple years under your belt. The team's kind of used to you now, a little bit more defined. What are you looking to personally gain and improve on as this year goes on and you get ready to start your third year?
Philip, I think overall this group has to learn me. You know, we have a bunch of new players. We'll grow together. My preparation doesn't change. I think it's my job to get these guys to grow together and learn about each other. Keep it that simple. I'll let you guys complicate it.
Okay, last question, please. Anyone? Okay.
Thanks, Coach.